travel a lot, like
Yeah.
a lot of shows.
Oh my God, I
outside
travel a
Bombay
lot.
also.
Yeah.
So, basic question like anybody would ask
Yeah.
a concert person that how do you manage your food and stuff, because it's late hours and
Yeah.
it's difficult for a musician to first of all wake up early.
Right. So I'm a night person. I love working at night, and I don't like working in the daytime. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do, but I would, if I had the option, then I would work at night.
Any specific reason for that?
I like darkness, and I love yellow lights. So that's why all you can see is just yellow lights. For me, vibes really matter. Like my father would come to my house and sometimes he would change lights, white lights he'll put, and I would get so mad because after I come back from the tours, I want to feel that vibe because I love that vibe, and this is something that's me. It's part of me, and I don't want it to change or don't want it to be touched by anybody, not even my mother or father. So when I would come back home, I would see the change and I would really get hyper, and I would start screaming and all, saying to him that, don't do this. This is just me, and it's like taking away my body part and changing, putting it back, like it's like that. In my mind, I feel like that. So, vibes are something that really matter to me, and even when I'm checking into the hotel rooms, I would like things to be the way I want it, as in if the chair, like, the sofa cum bed is on the right-hand side, I would get it shifted to the left-hand side. Because I don't like to sleep my face. Like when I'm sleeping on my bed, I don't want to see the sofa cum bed on my, right in front of my eyes. It's just, I don't know, it's weird, but I cannot deal with the fact that it's right in front of me. So little things here and there, I like it to be my way. And food. About food, I love eating food. Everybody in the music industry knows I eat a lot. Okay. Yeah, and I only eat meat. I don't eat any vegetables, like nothing. Yeah, I have to have meat in the system every day. If I don't get meat in the system, I cannot play. Yeah. I don't look like I eat a lot, but I eat a lot, and my metabolism is great. But again, like I said, at first when you're getting used to this traveling, like crazy traveling overnight, and even like moving from one place to another, it's a little bit hard because you're getting exposed to so many different kinds of people and food and weather. I remember I was admitted to hospital for a few days because I couldn't take the fact that because of that sudden change, and I used to have this gastritis issue. I still have it. If I don't eat every 2 hours, then I get crazy stomach ache. Like then I have to get injections, like 4 injections at a time or 3 injections at a time. Yeah, but I'm not scared of injections since I'm so used to it. But yeah,
as a musician, you have to kind of take care of your health.
Yeah, you have to. But when you're working, it's really hard to keep a track of what you're doing and what you're not, apart from music.
You realize that you went into the studio and came out after like 6 hours, and without eating or drinking anything, because you get so involved in the...
So when I do session work for other people, I make sure that I only spend like 2 to 3 hours and I'm done, okay? Then I come back home. But if it's a personal project, and if you want it to be something more interesting, then you have to send me the track, and I would work, ideate it in such a way that would be more interesting for the local crowd to hear. So I like to work from my studio then. A lot of my international projects that I've been a part of are all recorded from here through my amp to the sound card I use, and from this laptop in the same room. So I do my recording sessions from here. Like I recently recorded on a track of Jordan Rudess, and we are doing, there's something I recorded for Gary Willis as well. So these are like, people that I've looked up to as
How did you
growing
end up meeting them?
Online,
Okay.
Since I work with a lot of international artists every month, I try and put out videos whenever I can, when I'm free at home, apart from all the gigging. That's something I enjoy doing. But I think when it comes to the internet world, the world becomes so small. And when somebody is doing good, it doesn't even take a second to spread. So that's how we come across people, and I come across people, they come across me, like that. And since I guess when you're endorsing a lot of projects, you they kind of get to know, because they are doing a lot of publicity, because I belong to their company, stuff like that. Mostly Mark bass, Mayonnaise, Groove Gear, Lathan Bassware, Boss that I've just started endorsing, then SID Strings. So all these companies that I endorse right now.
Right. Yeah. So speaking of international projects, you did something recently with Dave Weckl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how did that
it was
happen?
Not his project. It was this violin player's really amazing player. His name is Abhijit Nair. He's from Cochin, and it was his album. One song is out now. There are other 4 tracks that I've played on, which features different artists.
Okay.
This one featured Dave Weckl, and he recorded it there, and I recorded it here. And
so it's like an online collaboration.
yeah, exactly. But it was for his album.
But did you all interact like on mail or phone? Or
yeah, we did. We had a couple of
each other?
Yes, we did. Because we want to sound like a band and not be like, okay, different parts of the world. And it's a song, so it has to be, since it's a band, and we didn't want it to sound like, okay, everybody is so different. But at the same, I mean, everybody is different, of course, when it comes to music, but we wanted the song to be more focused on, and we wanted the song to sound more like together, you know.
Okay.
So we had a couple of conversations via mails and just tried to do things which would be interesting in a way, and at the same time more hippie, and which would feature everybody and their own styles, because we are popular for a few things, and everybody was, so we wanted that also to be featured. So just, you know, conversations we had via mails, and we just came up with some things that would work for the song.
Right.
And not for us, but for the song mainly.
Cut to you going to a studio as a kid, where you had musicians playing together.
Yeah.
Versus today, where you yourself, as a musician, are now collaborating online.
Right.
What is the change that you have felt? Seeing your father play with, 20 other musicians.
Yeah, I have only seen it. I've never been a part of it.
Did you kind of feel that difference, because you've been going to studios for years now?
Yeah, we're trying to bring that back. Like recently, we recorded a track for this drummer called Darshan Doshi, and it was for his endorsement something, and he wanted to do this track that he came up with, and we recorded in Yashraj's studio. First we were thinking, okay, let's just record it from individual studios, but then we thought, why not just do it like a live take, you know? That's something we're missing out in today's world, and why not do that way? But again, like, today's world is so advanced technological in terms of technology. Even if you make mistake, it can be corrected, but we don't want that. That's why the lively feeling is gone, and we want to bring that back, and that's why we're trying to bring that back. So we recorded it live, and we didn't do any corrections. We did like a couple of takes, and it was so tight. Like, I feel the difference. Like, when you're recording separately, it still sounds like you've recorded from somewhere else. But when a drummer and a bass player is in the same room and you're playing with each other, a lot of different kind of improvisations come up, only because you're together and your minds connect and you can see each other and you can start guessing what's coming next. But when you're recording, all you know is like, okay, he's played this and it's not going to change. But when you're in the live, it's going to change. It's not going to be the same. So every time you take, it's going to be different. Right. So that's something I enjoy. I don't like to play same things over and over again.
So when you are in live shows or playing with musicians in the same room, what is it that you kind of observe and learn, or from?
Like I said, I mean, every new musician I play with, I try to grasp all the interesting things that I, feel like, okay, it's attractive. I want to pick this up, and I would do that. Like I said, as a kid, growing up, I've always been fascinated by tablas, and I would try and pick up those things, or drummers that I've played with. I would try and pick up a few things. Like in my master classes and workshops, I always say this: like, I've managed to syncopate and copy the same things that the drummer would do. Same way, if I see a guitar player playing a guitar in a different way, I would try and do that on bass as well, just to see if it works or not. That's something I enjoy doing. Or any kind of instrument, doesn't have to be something that's known, but any instrument which would be attractive enough and something that touches my heart, and I'll be like, okay, I want to do this. Just because you can use it in your own way in different projects. It doesn't have to be your project, can be anybody's project. Just like I said, the uniqueness. We want unique things every time. We don't want to be repeating the same things over and over again. So we're just trying to, me personally, I'm trying to give out new stuff every time I'm playing, even with the same musician. It doesn't have to be a new director or new composer or new anybody. I always try and end up giving something new every time I work with the same person. Even with AR, when I'm playing the same shows, it's the same song list. Sometimes it changes, but I always try and give new things to the show. I don't play exactly the same every show.
Mohini, when you listen to somebody else's song, some Western track, Indian track, whatever, how do you kind of decipher it in your brain? How do you kind of break it down when you hear it?
First thing, I listen to the melody. That's something I enjoy listening to, because
Your
the
mind
moment I
doesn't go
hear...
towards the bass?
No, it doesn't actually. The first thing, I would listen to the melody, and then I would listen to the drums. So the melody, why? Because the moment I hear the melody, the harmonies will start floating in my mind. Not the harmonies which is in the track. I wouldn't hear those first, but my mind would already start doing its own thing. I don't know how. It would just start doing its own thing and reharmonize everything by itself. And then I would hear the harmonies that's playing on the track. And then, of course, where the judgment comes in and is like, okay, maybe it could have been better, or maybe it's great, stuff like that. Or whatever I'm hearing is maybe not better than what's on the track, stuff like that. And of course, then I would hear the drums and bass together. And then I would hear the other textures and the production that's done behind. So that's how I slowly, step by step, start listening to every instrument. But I don't listen to it as, like, I like to hear it individually first, and then together as a song.
Okay. But you never are critical about new music, or do you approach a song as a critic that this could have been better? That is.
Of course. I mean, I'm critical about my own playing. Every time I work for a musician or work for myself or anybody, I would always be like, you know what? Even after it's released, I was like, I could have done this better, and you're never satisfied. Like I said, that uniqueness and just that ability to refresh and remodify things has to be there. Otherwise, it's going to be the same throughout, and you don't want to be stuck there. So that's why I like listening to new stuff. I like listening to different kinds of music, which would give me new ideas, and I would try and do different things in different projects.
Right. So Mohini, there are a lot of young musicians who would be watching this video.
Yeah.
Any piece of advice to them that, if they were looking at this as a career?
Looking music as a career.
Yes. So what is it that they can do to make themselves better musicians, so that they too can perform with great artists?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, you have to put in time, you have to put in a lot of effort, you have to spend sleepless nights, skip on meals, you have to be almost addicted to it if you really want it to be your career. Not everybody can make it, but if you wish and want this to be your part of your life, then you have to work for it, and you have to spend a lot of hours, and just try and listen to new kinds of music, and just put in a lot of hours of practice on yourself, and try to be a better person, like I said, and because it's something that's going to be seen through your playing, and not just musically, but even as a person. When you're talking to people in the industry, when you start working with them, you will notice a big difference, because a lot of people that you're going to start getting connected to are going to call you if you're a good person, because they want a meeting point. They want to be comfortable with you while they speak to you, and just that communication has to be smooth, and they don't want to like I said, people, they don't have that much patience, so they want to work fast. They're not going to wait for you. Somebody's going to come someday and kick your ass off, and then you're gone, So you have to keep yourself updated with time. So just keep yourself updated with time, and Again, a lot of families are not supportive towards their kids. I would tell parents that, please let them do what they want to, and if it's a problem, like if the kids are having problem, I would just suggest them to move out and do their own thing, because nowadays I see a lot of people doing that, and they're doing really good. And now I see so many female musicians out here doing work, which is really inspiring, So when women can do it today's time, why not men,
A lot of people ask me, what do musicians do in their free time? They can't be playing all the time, and all the time they can't be listening to music. Come on.
Of course.
So what is it that you do to unwind, or what do you do?
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I love stitching. A lot of my clothes that I wear for my shows are actually made by me.
Hand stitched or machine?
Hand stitched, and I also have a machine, a sewing machine, and I design. I have a file which has a lot of designs. I always wanted to become a fashion designer as a kid. I told my parents, and they were like, no. And because I was already working with AR that time, and I said, okay, maybe I can do this as on the side, and I kept doing that. I never stopped. Even like if I'm sleeping and suddenly I'll wake up at 3 a.m. at night and I'll be like, you know what? There's this design I have in my mind. I want to wear this in my show, and I'll just start stitching, or I'll start designing. So I love painting as well. I have a lot of paintings, and a lot of my stuff in the studio are actually decorated by me. My idols, Quincy gave me that book, Victor Wooten gave me that book, and the other one is Herbie's book that I took from his hand himself. I still remember AR was right next to me. He introduced me to Herbie that time. Yeah.
Mohini, thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sharing so many things about you and your life.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wish you all the very best.
Thank you.